Hey guys, it's Keeley and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be doing my March wrap up. I'm gonna make this intro short because I read 10 books in the month of March and I am almost done with an 11th, but it is the last day of March today, so I know I'm not gonna finish it because I am binge watching Survivor. It's fine. But yeah, so let's get on into it because I read 10 books, so we have a lot to talk about. The first book I read in the month of March was A Very Large Expanse of Sea by Tahira Mafi. This follows a Muslim American teen right after 9/11. So she's facing a lot of racism and backlash, and let me tell you, I cried so many times from anger at how Shadeen was treated. It was just so awful. Like, I have no words for it. I can't believe like people actually go for this, and my heart goes out to them, and I wish I could change the world. I wish I could stop the hate. But hopefully this book will be able to do just that, especially because it is being made into a movie. It really opened my eyes to how much hate people do receive. Like, I knew it was out there, but since it didn't hit me, I wasn't aware of the extent of it, I guess. So this really opened my eyes, and I hope it opens the eyes of like all of the hateful bigots out there. We'll see, fingers crossed, but I ended up giving this one 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was P.S. I Like You by Casey West. If you don't know, I love Casey West. She's my favorite author. This book in particular follows a girl named Lily who really loves music, and the music that she likes isn't extremely popular and well known. One day in class she gets her doodles taken up, so she has to actually take notes in chemistry class. So she doesn't have an extra piece of paper to doodle, so she starts writing lyrics on the desk, and when she comes back the next day, someone has continued those lyrics. So they start passing notes back and forth all year, and it's just really adorable. I absolutely love Casey West. I can't tell you how many times I've said that in the last few videos. I'm sure you're getting annoyed with it, but like, read her, especially if you love romance contemporary like I do and you love tropes, because her books are very trope heavy and I love tropes. So once again, I gave this Casey West book a 5 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was Holding Up the Universe by Jennifer Niven. So this follows two characters, Libby, who was previously America's Fattest Teen, and Jack, who has face blindness. It's like prosopagnosia or something like that. It's face blindness, so he can't recognize people's faces, not even his own family. And their worlds kind of intertwine whenever Libby goes back to school and Jack is there. I really enjoyed the representation in this book. I haven't looked at Own Voices reviewers to see how well the representation is, but I liked that those two things were brought up in a young adult book, because I, first of all, have never seen face blindness in a young adult book, but I also liked the representation for a fat girl, and she like was not ashamed about it. She loved her body. She didn't lose weight to be skinny. She lost weight to be healthy because she was the world's or America's Fattest Teen, and so she loved her body. She loved being the fat girl. But I really enjoyed it, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was 5 Feet Apart by Rachel Lippincott, and if you haven't been watching my channel or my Twitter or anything, I am trash for this book and this movie. I can't even explain. Like, it's not just another sick kid love story. If you don't know, it follows two characters who have cystic fibrosis, and patients with CF aren't allowed to get within more than 6 feet of each other, so you could see how that becomes a problem. I really loved it. Like I said, it's more than just a sick kid love story. It is so well represented. I have looked up, I have watched, I have read so many Own Voices reviewers, and they loved it and said they have never seen themselves represented so well in anything. And the awareness it has brought to cystic fibrosis is just incredible. The Google searches has gone up, the donations have gone up, and I just really hope that we're that much closer to finding a cure for these people who do suffer with this disease. It is a terminal illness, so like, find a cure, people. Let's go. But I gave this one a 5 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was Summer of Salt by Katrina Leno, and if you are new to my channel, hi, yes, I love Katrina Leno very much. This is the 4th book I have read by her. I think 4. Let me check. Yes, this is the 4th book I've read by her, and this one is relatively short, but it packs so much, like a huge punch just right in the gut. But it follows twins named Georgina and Mary, and they are Fernway women, and Fernway women have magical powers. They live on this island called By the Sea, and everyone in their family that is a woman, has these magical abilities, except for Georgina. She's almost 18 and she hasn't developed hers yet, so she thinks that she's kind of a dud. And it just goes off from there. There's just so much packed into Katrina Leno's books, and I always love the little magical twist and aspect of them. This book also has a female-female romance, which was really cool to see, especially in one of my favorite authors' books. But I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. It was one of those that was like 4 stars until the end when like the thing happens, you know, when that moment just like hits you and slaps you across the face. This book had one of those moments, so I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was On the Fence by Casey West. This follows a girl named Charlie who has grown up with her father and her 3 brothers, I think, and then also her brother's best friend who's the next door neighbor. So it's like she has just all these boys surrounding her, so she's kind of a self-proclaimed tomboy. One day she gets a speeding ticket, so her dad makes her go get a job, and she gets a job in this boutique, so she's kind of thrust into this unknown world of makeup and clothes and having friendships with girls, and so she kind of starts becoming this person that she's not. And the boy next door, they meet on the fence every night, and he's like, girl, that's not you. I, once again, just love Casey West's romances, but also the family aspect in this book was one of my favorite family aspects I've seen. I really, really loved it. And of course, I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was By Your Side by Casey West. Yes, this is the last Casey West book I've read this month, so hold your horses. But this follows a girl named Autumn who gets trapped in the library over a long weekend, and she quickly realizes that she is not alone. Another person is trapped in the library with her, and it is kind of the school's bad boy who has this bad reputation. You can only imagine the trope in this. I love the trope. This is one of my favorites, like the good girl versus, like, meets a bad boy. Love that so much. I also loved the aspect of getting trapped in a library. I mean, I feel like that's every book lover's dream, and if not, like, I understand because, like, you're trapped, but you have books, so that's nice. But once again, 5 out of 5 stars. I've never given anything less to her books. We'll see. The next book I read was We Are the Gardeners by Joanna Gaines and her kids, illustrated by Juliana Swaney. Yes, this was a little children's book. I went to the book launch for this and got a copy early, and so I read it while I was waiting to see Joanna, and it was just so sweet. It talks about our failures and how we can grow from those, and instead of being knocked down from them, you get up and try again, which is really awesome in a kid's book. But also the illustrations, like, I just want to show you. Let's see. Like, look how cute these are. I just think that they're so beautiful and adorable, and oh my goodness. But anyway, it's probably like my new, like, illustrated favorite children's book that I've read. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was Sadie by Courtney Summers. So this follows a girl named Sadie whose little sister was murdered. So Sadie goes looking for her murderer, and then she goes missing herself. So this is still told in part Sadie's point of view and part podcast, which was really cool. I've heard the audiobook is good, but I physically read it, which was still great. I am not a huge thriller mystery book person, so I was nervous going into this that I would be the only one in the world that didn't like it, but I loved it. It was really, really fast-paced and fascinating, and I was never bored, and I love books that have like a podcast element type of thing like that. That part was really interesting. So this book was a 4 out of 5 stars until the last line. This is one of those books where the last line just once again slaps you across the face, and you close the book and you're like, what? So I ended up giving this one 5 out of 5 stars. I definitely recommend it. Even if you don't like thriller mystery like me, I still really enjoyed it. And the last book I read in March was a reread, and that was Eclipse by Stephanie Meyer. This is the 3rd book in the Twilight Saga, and for the first time in my life, I rated a Twilight book less than 5 stars. We'll get to that in a minute. I listened to this one via audiobook, so that was really fun. I've been rereading this series through audio, which has been a great time. But growing up, I always thought this was my favorite, but my last 2 rereads, it's my least favorite. And let me tell you why. Now that I am what they call an adult, I have realized some problems. First of all, Bella is an idiot. She is so annoying in this book. She thinks it's all about her, but I mean, it doesn't help that everyone around her is like, oh, it's all about you. the worst. But also, I am well versed on Law and Order SVU, and Jacob definitely assaulted Bella in this book. Not cool, dude. But then also Edward was so incredibly controlling, and I guess my 13-year-old self was like, oh, this is so romantic, and now I'm just like, all of y'all are the worst. Which is weird for me to admit because I am Twilight trash. Don't get me wrong, I still love the series. I am still Team Edward for life. I still sleep with an Edward Cullen pillow every night. It's fine. But I did give this one 3 out of 5 stars because it is problematic and I was cringing so hard because of so many things. So yeah. Alright, so these are the books that I read this March, including We Are the Gardeners, but that one's like an awkward shape and size, so I'm not going to hold it up with these. And then I'm also almost done with another one, like I said at the beginning, so I will probably talk about that in my April wrap-up. Actually, I definitely will. Spring break helped a lot because I read 6 books in the week of spring break, and I also vlogged that, so that'll be down below if you want to go check that out. But that is it for my March wrap-up. Let me know what you read in the month of March. Thank you so much for watching. As always, my social media links will be down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye!